Hello and welcome to High on Sports Overtime. I am Ralphie, and with me as always is my lovely and beautiful crew.
Hello.
Say hi, guys.
What is
Howdy,
up?
howdy.
Hi, guys.
All right, there we go.
What it do?
And real quick, I want to remind you guys to check out the show's website, highonsportsradioshow.com. You can find the archive of any past show and my weekly rants about, whatever's urinating me off from that week in sports. And a bunch of other fun stuff. You can find out about the apps and register to our email list and all that fun stuff. So remember, find us also on Twitter, _on_sports, and High on Sports Radio on Facebook. All right, let's get right into this. Something we didn't get to in the show that I really wanted to talk about was a little bit of MLB Free Agency talk. I know how much you love that, Von Erich. And
Oh yes, of course.
we'll start with probably the biggest free agent out there right now, who kind of seems like the hype around him has kind of died out a little bit. It just seems like, maybe because we're in the NFL playoffs and, basketball season's underway that the free agency kind of takes a back seat. But Prince Fielder is still up for grabs. And I was reading there was some really preliminary meetings with Nolan Ryan, the owner of the Texas Rangers, to possibly bring him to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. How likely do you think that is?
As of right now, it's looking like it's pretty much a done deal. The Rangers definitely want to make a splash in free agency after division rivals Los Angeles Angels picked up Albert Pujols and C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, that was big.
So they believe that they need to get a deal done for Fielder so they can have his bat in the lineup along with Josh Hamilton.
And they've got another potential star pitcher on the way with them winning the bidding war for the rights to Yu Darvish.
Oh, Whirling Darvish.
Japanese phenom, which I've been vocal on the show about. I don't like this whole Asian phenom thing because they're over there in that media cloud and everything that we can't get to as a country, and it's just always like there's all this hype and everything and mystery surrounding it, and then they come over here and generally they're not that great. Everybody expects to get another Hideki Matsui or Ichiro. But they don't. It's much more common that they get a Daisuke who's big and, can do good, but, has fizzled out for the most part, to say the least. But taking things home a little bit. Love the jersey, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Talking about our tribe, a guy who there's been a lot of talk about, really all offseason. Now the Indians finally look like they're starting to do something about it. Carlos Pena potentially coming over to play first base. How likely do you think that is?
The Tribe definitely wants to make a deal, especially for a first baseman, but when it comes to Carlos Pena, I'm not too excited about this because this is a guy that's going to strike out at least 150 times, and he's also only going to bat 220, but he will produce at least 75 RBIs and 20 home runs if that's what you're looking to get, but he just doesn't have all the tools that we need to get us over the hump in the what is that, the middle division?
Central.
Middle
Central, same thing. Now, real quick, another guy, Casey Kochman. What do you think about that?
I would rather have Kochman instead of Carlos Pena.
Interesting. I actually, Kochman helped me out in the playoffs last year in our fantasy baseball. That's because we had that screwed up rule where it was a point for every putout, so any guy you could start that was a first baseman got you mass amounts of points, and it's pretty cheap, and that's how the champion won. All right, one other thing real quick before we get out of here. Another guy that the Indians are still in the running for, and you'll have to forgive me for the pronunciation of his name, but it's this, he's what, Cuban or Dominican or something? Cuban. The Cuban outfielder, he's got a lot of power and everything. Oh, jeez. His last name's Cuspides. Giannis. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name either.
Let me see.
But I have I have seen his name in print, and
where am I at?
That's another one of those situations that you were talking about with the Japanese pitchers, where it's not always a guarantee that they're going to come here and perform at the major league level. So that's always up in the air.
Well, and the other teams, by the way, in the running, Marlins, Cubs, White Sox, Orioles, Tigers, and Indians still in it. I think he's going to be a Marlin. I mean, if the Marlins want to offer him big bucks, why wouldn't you want to play? They're now into the sort of Latino territory of Miami. It just seems like the natural place that he would end up going, but that's just me. Either way, I'm just a little upset that the Indians haven't really made much of a move. You know, they did sign a lot of minor leaguers. They did sign a minor league pitcher from the Dominican named Willie LeBron.
I saw that.
His last name's LeBron, exactly like LeBron James. I mean, if he ever makes it up to the big leagues, it's going to be near impossible to sell that jersey.
Yeah.
But,
Poor guy.
best of luck to him.
He's going to have to change his name.
All right, well, either way, I really wish they would have brought in a few more bats. I mean, they did get Derek Lowe to come in and be, at least the fifth man in our rotation. So, pitching wins championships. I guess that's what they say. All right, well, I think that's just about going to do it for this week's edition of High on Sports Overtime. Remember, check out the show live every Monday night at 7 p.m. on MorningShowCentral.com. And again, get to the website, HighOnSportsRadioShow.com, Twitter, High_on_sports, Facebook, High on Sports Radio, and follow us on Twitter at eRalphieW, at Von Erich, at AshleyBrum13.
And it doesn't matter, don't worry about it.
All right. All right, and find us on MySpace too, because why not?
Really funny.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week, Monday night at 7. Good night.